कालीकूर्च समायुक्त माया कूडोपदेशतः प्रणवार्थ प्रबोधिन्यौ नमामि गुरुपादुके श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः क्रीं मात्रे नमः नमः सदसे. Good morning to one and all. In today's video, we are going to have an interview with one of the senior most cult survivors of Nithyananda's group, and she is one of the prominent people who are speaking out against Nithyananda. And for those who are in the cult survivors community, she needs no introduction. I present to you Joanna, and I would like her to say a few words about herself and what is her involvement with the Sangha to start with.
So hi everyone. Yes, my name is Joanna right now, but I was called Nithya Gita Priya Ananda in the Sangha, and this was my spiritual name and still is in my passport. And I joined the Sangha in 2006, and I left in 2019. And I was very, very much involved in the Sangha, in the organization as a volunteer, basically from the beginning. So I might not be living in the ashram as an ashramite, but I was heavily involved as a volunteer, being outside of the ashram. So I don't know if this is enough or we should say more.
Yes, that's sufficient. How many years have you been in touch with the Sangha?
So 14 years, I would say 14 years.
Okay, 14 years of complete involvement. That is, even when you are outside, Sangha was affecting your life.
Oh, totally. I mean, especially in the beginning, I mean, it's not only, well, being on this side is, I can say, you know, the right word would be consuming, totally consuming my life, became priority. Like it was number one. I was trying to be present for my family as well. And that was also my focus. But yet, my involvement, the volunteering, it was because it was also, it was described to us or portrayed to us that it's such a huge part of the spiritual growth as well, that it's so important to be involved and be part of the Sangha and contribute and enrich the world. It was this kind of context was given to us, that, and over the years it was becoming more intense and more intense and more intense, that it's like a condition almost. You have to volunteer, you have to be part of the Sangha in some way, because that's the only way that you can evolve spiritually.
Okay, so you have to volunteer. I think it is a paradoxical statement. So
Yeah, I mean,
it really
yeah,
is. Yes.
it was, you know, you either in it or you're not, and then you are like, I would say you are doomed, you know, like you're on your own. You have no benefits meaning, again, in the context of growing spirituality, it was always you know, put it across this way to us, that, you know, attending programs, being a volunteer, enriching, of course, lately that became this concept, and here we are, you know. That's you. So I took it very seriously, because from the very beginning I was very, very, very intense. Somehow I hooked up, I'm using this word, but I, you know, back then I would say I connected immediately with Nithyananda when I attended his program in 2006. And both of us, me and my husband, attended, and both of us, we connected. We were even ready to go to India because back then in 2006 they were advertising, or they were saying that there is this trip coming up to Himalayas. And we were like looking at each other like, wow, that would be so great to go to Himalayas, and, you know, with him. And so we, both of us, we were connecting. And in the beginning, actually, my husband was more, I would say, integrating in a sense that he was doing all the meditations that we were taught. And so those meditations basically were around chakras. He was doing it was called Live program, and then all the meditations that were related to each chakra. So that's what he was doing. And then after 3 years, actually, he left, my husband, and Of course, I was not happy about this, yes, because I was so possessed with Nithyananda and trusting. Well, but seriously, I really, I connected on such a deep level. Like, I really trusted from the very beginning. I trusted this guy and Nithyananda. And I'm using Nithyananda for the clarity. I mean, because some people might know, we call him Niti now or whatever else, poops. But, and for the clarity and an understanding, so I would call him the full name, Nithyananda. And so I really trusted him. I believed him. He was the ultimate. Like, somehow I developed, it just happened, how can, I don't know, but it's not only for me, for many of us, and for people who are still in the Sangha. He's just the ultimate. He's the God. He's now the Paramashiva, and he has been changing his names over the years. He was just an enlightened master when I met him. He was just Nithyananda, and then, now we know, he's now Paramashiva, apparently. Yes, it went from Sadhashiva, then Mahasadhashivoham, then, no, first was Avatar, then Sadhashiva, then Mahasadhashivoham, and now it's a Paramashiva. So I don't know what next. I don't know.
Okay, so like this, the focus of the interview is primarily going to be on the inner awakening program that they are conducting, and also some other higher level programs, because they are connected in the context. So that is the primary purpose of the interview. Like I posted in the Facebook Cult Survivors page a couple of days back, I am looking at testimonials, and Joanna has come forward to give us her interview on this note. Thank you so much. So the questions are basically going to be about inner awakening and other higher level programs. So can I start with the first one?
Go ahead.
Okay. So what is inner awakening? What is the stated purpose of the program?
Well, I attended Inner Awakening. That's how it was called in 2008. It was the very first program of that caliber and that nature. And it's basically about enlightenment, I would say, because that's what, from my memory, going back to 2008, that's how it was put it out across to us, that, if you attend, literally, you will experience enlightenment. You will, yes, it was all about enlightenment. I don't think I can, and of course, when your life will improve, it was all about that your life will just become enlightened and effortless, and all the best things you can imagine in any area of your life.
Okay, and how many programs did you attend after that? How many inner awakening programs?
I think, 7.
Okay, so why do you need 7 inner awakening programs? Because I think one program I can attend once, then I can probably volunteer or something for helping the others attend. But actually attending the same program again and again, like what are we going to get out of that? That is the basic question.
Yes, so yeah, this is a very interesting question, because there's no such thing like, it's a program. Yes, it's a process, it's a transformation. That's how it was called. So it's got nothing to do with, like, you go for a program with Tony Robbins or, all those guys similar in that nature. It is, when I attended the first one, so it was certain high, I would say, like, you just experience some kind of high, then you come back, and then always it was taking me a long time to come to certain, I don't know how to call it. Like, when I was coming back actually from each inner awakening, it was certain actually depression, to be honest. I felt like a certain depression, like yeah, I don't know how to call it, but it was just from this high that I've experienced during inner awakening, some sort of high like this, this whole group and this Nithyananda, and then some kind of meditation or whatnot, him dancing, and this whole, it was some kind of high, like an empty high. And coming back, it was just this feeling emptiness. I came back, and from each program was this feeling emptiness and depression. And then usually, literally on average, was taking me a month. And if you talk to anybody, even people who are still in the Sangha, If they won't share the same, they basically lie, because it's exactly the same thing each of us experienced, that it was certain emptiness and depression and not knowing what to do now with our lives. And it was taking a long time to come back to it. And then but going back to the question is, there was no such thing. And they made sure, especially in Nithyananda, that this is, and he a few times actually said, this is not, when the next one was being, they put up with the next one, and usually was around December, the biggie one. So they made sure that it's been not viewed by us like, okay, just come, just come. Each program was something different, something bigger, something extra, something never happened before. Now you have to attend. What was before, it doesn't matter now. Now this is the next. It was not even said the next level, but it was like you've never seen before, you've never experienced. Now this is a really big one. And I give you an example. The 2012, it was on the cruise. The information was, before that happened, the whole marketing was, if you attend this program, and it was of course around 2012, the famous 2012, this prediction of the world is going to end, yes? So of course, he made this program on the cruise, and he said that the body water, if you, the best transmission of enlightenment actually happened in the water body. So what is the perfect place? Go on the cruise, yes? And we are sitting on the ship, seemingly in the water body, yes? So that was one aspect of the being so unusual and being so extraordinary. And then also he said that attending this program will be like attending 100 inner awakenings.
Okay, so it is like, the latest toothpaste is the best one, just a marketing statement.
Yeah. And also was always created this you have to attend, like this need in you was created, like you completely forgot. It's like, oh no, I think, if I attend this one, then for sure I will nail it, I will get this. No, just want this one more time, and I will experience something there. So it was always, like dingling this carrot in front of you. You have to have it, because if you don't, then you're missing on something. So it was always, I remember when I look back, and I was very good at, buying it into it. I was one of the best, probably, like that's why I attended, regardless of my financial situation or any other situation in my family. And of course, for me was like, what, if I attend this time, I'm sure I will nail it down and it will happen, and the life will be so perfect, and I will return to my family, and it will be glamorous. Okay. So that's how it was basically done.
Yes, so basically I want to clarify something here. Okay, enlightenment and other things, practically this is how it is there in the scriptures. This is how even the lives of enlightened masters are. According to, if you take up Ramayana for example, Rama was considered to be an enlightened being, a realized being, right when he finished his Gurukul. Conversation between Vasishta, his guru, and Rama. Rama's guru is Vasishta. So Rama and Vasishta are discussing. It is called Yoga Vasishtam. And in that text, it is evident, it is very clear that Rama is already evolved, enlightened. But again, when Sita is being abducted, he is crying for, the whole time, and then he is getting angry on, Ravana. He is getting angry on the Samudra Deva. All of these things are happening. So basically, like, this whole concept of enlightenment during the life, when we are going through the life process, is literally nothing. Even after listening to 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is getting angry when his son Abhimanyu got killed. So basically, the whole concept of something will happen, some boom will happen, and your entire life will change. All of this is not the reality. And I think that is how it was sold. And I'm not asking this question to you, I'm asking this question to the existing people who are still attending program. So if Nithyananda is claiming that this upcoming program is 100 times better than the old program, then he sold you a lower grade product. Should you not ask for a refund? This is the question that I'm asking. So that
Well,
yeah.
definitely. And another example was that in 2013 in Bali. Of course, it was one of the another biggie inner awakenings that you have to attend. I mean, it was creating in all of us this kind of drooling effect. You know, when a dog see and and it cannot have it and just is drooling. Yes, so that was exactly in us. And of course, the money obstacle and everybody. It was addiction. It was such an addiction. I have no doubt in my mind. It was an addiction. You have to have it. And in 2013, he literally told us, now I will tell you. And he said, it's not that, inner, how he said it, inner enlightenment, it has to be given. How I was given by my master, enlightenment has to be given. You cannot just now I will tell you the truth, don't so you're not being, don't fool yourself. Enlightenment has to be given. And I'm here, of course, to give you, like how, he was given.
Okay, so it was, this is a basic, mistake, and this is a basic error that he wantonly committed. I have clearly explained in one of my videos that enlightenment is not like a candy bar; it cannot be given. That is, this one, abhyasayana kaunteya vairagyena sagachyati, is what Krishna is saying. That is, he is saying only through two things that you can attain it. One is through abhyasa, which is continuous practice, and second one is vairagya, which is moving away from the pleasures and desires. So only by doing these two things you will be able to attain. Abhyasena to kaunteya, vairagyena sagachyati. These two things has to be together. So if somebody is promising you enlightenment, then that is a fake guru. That much is clear. So basically, like, this whole concept of this high that you are speaking about is like you attended a 30-day long rock concert. Obviously, when you are coming back home, you will be missing that. So is that at that level, or is that at a deeper level than that?
No, I would say that, especially looking now back, yeah, definitely. But this is definitely in the category of addiction, some kind of addiction, because I was like, okay, more and more, and then, okay, no, especially with his promises, yes, alongside. So, looking back then again, I was not any much happier going back home. I wanted to make it happier. I wanted to make it work. I wanted to make it look this way. And there was always at the back of my mind is that like this little voice saying, this is not true. But I didn't want to admit this. So, it's like addiction. Yes. Come on. This is clearly a definition of addiction that, cheating myself and not being truthful to myself and not being able to admit.
Yes. So there are so many higher level programs, and Inner Awakening is one of the higher level programs. So is there a system? Because when you say higher level program, it means you should have completed some lower level program before you can come to this. So is there any kind of like restriction on these much years you should have been a volunteer, these many years you should have conducted your practices, your daily sadhana must be this much? So is there any kind of restriction like this, or at least some kind of preparation, like before you attend such a huge process of getting enlightened or whatever, there should be some certain amount of preparation for your body and mind? Is there any kind of system like this with Nithyananda?
Big no. There's no such thing. And actually, as long as you have money, that's your qualification. There's nothing else. And on several occasions, he actually said that you don't need any experience, you don't need any knowledge. All you need to do, just pack up yourself, literally his words, pack up yourself and come, and I will do everything for you. Literally his words. I will do everything for you. All you need to do, just show up yourself in front of me in my physical presence. Of course, back then it was only in physical presence. Then I will do everything for you. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that was basically the context.
Yes.
And
So yeah, about this physical presence, what is happening right now? So how are they defending that?
yeah, that's very interesting because in 2018, So at some point he disappeared. Yes, disappeared, like suddenly silence, not even satsangs, nothing. The programs got canceled. Programs meaning those inner awakenings, or already 2018 they were called Mahasadhashivoham, I think, whatever they were called, Paramashivoham, doesn't matter really. So they were canceled, yes, and then at some point he reappeared, and suddenly they announced, this program, yes, inner awakening is happening, and it happened actually in 2018 in December. So it was like almost half a year break of his appearances and whatnot. But so they started saying that Divya Sharira, suddenly they started talking about Divya Sharira, that the programs will be taking place, but with his Divya Sharira. And the Divya Sharira is like a next level, more advanced level, that actually you won't be able to experience whatever they were promising, and he was promising the state of Sadashiva or Paramashiva, unless it's done in the form of Divya Sharira. Never mind the physical form anymore. It just has to be Divya Sharira. This is a higher form and powerful. And then if we are speaking here, I would like to quote from 2017, exactly from August 1st. This is his own words, Nithyananda's words. I heard one guru has told, Guru's physical presence is not required, and sometimes it will be hindrance. Let me make it very clear. It may be for him. I'm very clear. Sadashiva is very clear. The physical presence of Guru, Veda, Agama, Saiva, Sampradayas are very, very, very clear. And then he's quoting, the physical presence of the Guru is not only necessary, mandatory for enlightenment. Of course, if somebody is not enlightened and they are sitting on the Guru Pita, then their physical presence is not required. See, if their physical presence cannot radiate, vibrate Shaktipada, then their presence is not required. Understand an important basic truth. In Veda, Agama, Saiva, Sampradayas, physical presence of the Guru is not only required, it is mandatory for highest enlightenment to manifest through you. So here we go. And that was prior to Mahasadhashivoham, guerrilla campaigning that happened, that this program happened in 2017. And here we go in 2018, the recruitment for I think was called in Paramashivoham for this Divya Sharira, yes. And they were explaining that their explanation literally was that this is a higher form now, okay? Paramashiva has grown, has downloaded, has, I don't know what, went into other dimensions, and only enlightenment is now it's possible and transfer through Divya Sharira. And basically what happened was online green fabric behind, so they can project him, because you need this green, I think green or something else that you can project. It was not even there was a talk about there was a massive requirement from all the centers around the world to buy, it's called what is it called, oh my god, sorry,
Green screen.
No, this is not.
Oh.
What is called this technology that that you can like three-dimensional
Holographic.
What?
Holographic. Yes.
Hologram. Yes, I remember because I was still in the sangha, and it was like over $10,000 the system it cost, and we were told you have to buy it, and Nithyananda will be appearing in your centers, but for that you have to buy. And it was not that they were providing, you have to buy, of course, out of your pocket, you have to come up, because if not, then you will be out of the loop, you will be not part of the let's say this two-way online connection with him, yes. And everybody was always after this two line. So I can see you, Nithyananda was always saying, when I see you, then only whatever the transmission happens or something like that. There was always a trick to answer to everything, and just manipulating this way.
Yes. So what about this cardboard cutout that they were selling for some hundreds of dollars, I suppose? This cardboard cutout of Nithyananda.
Oh no, that was this was what the, I forgot the name, but basically, a form of a guru that he initiated. And it's just like you have your guru in your house, and this cardboard, you were receiving it when you, I don't know now if they do it, but it was always part of the program. You attended the program, then you got this cardboard, yes, and then you were taking it home, and then you had to pay also what extra $100 on your return ticket because, you know,
You have to carry it with you.
yeah. If you were happy that it was included, then, but otherwise people were then, arranging, and, you were wrapping this god, in the foil, in the paper, in the strings and whatnot, and putting in the, where all the luggage is there, your god, you put there, okay? And then you pay $100, you bring home, and then you unwrap, and then here's your god sitting, in the form of the cardboard, okay? So.
I understand. So, all this ridiculousness apart, because everything that I am touching about Nithyananda, I am finding something ridiculous. So I think there is no end to it. And if we start discussing every stupidity he has committed and every criminal act that he has committed, I think either I will pass away or he will pass away before that. Okay, our lifetime will not be sufficient. So that is the legend of this criminal. That is why I am against him. That is the legend of Nithyananda. So next question is, what did you learn in these inner awakening programs? What was actually taught to you? And there is a sub question there. I am 100% sure that he is not consistent with the program like any other thing that he does. So how did it evolve over the time?
Oh my God, what did I learn? Now, because I'm not in the Sangha anymore, I learned nothing really. When I was there, I only learned that I'm missing something. If I don't attend, if I don't do this, it was constantly this kind of give and taken idea. Literally, like in kindergarten, I give you candies if you quiet. Yes. So whatever was how I didn't learn anything, to be honest. I thought I was learning, and I was trying to learn. I was trying to be very authentic, but it was, to be honest, especially when the incompletions came over, when he introduced. So being on this side now, and then not in the Sangha, I feel the most complete only now than, ever before. And then it was actually, now when I look back, it was only deepening me in the state of that, I need to work on myself. I need to work on myself. I need to do something. I need to complete meaning that the blockages, and, the blockages meaning that if I cannot manifest something in my life, it means that I have developed from, usually, of course, from childhood, some kind of patterns, which means conditioning, that if you do this, this will happen. So this blocks me, this hinders me, this is an obstacle in my way, because I've been always looking through this prismat, or through this, looking through like a colored glasses. Yes, that if I take them off, then I only see, how the life is, that it's not as dangerous as I'm thinking, because of this one experiences somewhere in the childhood. So, and of course he screwed up this whole concept, and he was not even adept in all this. And many people before I even met Nithyananda, they were in their webinars. They've been all over the world. They've been doing Landmark is number one. They're a king of this whole concept. Then Harv Eker, and I'm sure that Western people, he created this millionaire mind or something. And he was the one always giving this example, Harv Eker, because my husband actually even attended 20 years ago, because you were not giving this red wagon in your childhood. So you've been thinking that, you're deprived and you will have a hard time manifesting now money, yes, because this is the blockage. You were told no in your life. So then you looking through and all this stuff. So he was not the only one, Nithyananda number one. And anyway, my feeling right now is that I only was going deeper in the sense of, before even when I entered into it. Yes. So if I was looking into answers before even I met Nithyananda, so then when I met him and I was convinced that he's answering and he's giving me, actually, I didn't even realize, especially with the the moment when he introduced those 4 tattvas and then the incompletion or completion process, and it started in 2013. Especially since then, I was going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into actually
So yeah, I understand. So basically, yeah,
deeper depression, I would say.
I understand. So basically, like what is supposed to liberate you is putting you into a deeper pit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So that being said, actually, I was speaking to one Western scholar who has become an Indian scholar. I don't want to name that person because this was a private conversation. And he's a very great scholar, a very well known, eminent person in both worlds. So I was speaking to him and I was asking him, what is this all about? All this, Landmark Forum is doing this, and then this black swan or white swan, somebody else is doing something. What is this all about? This sounds like Freudian psychology to me. And he said, exactly, this is the illegal child born between Freudian psychology and new age psychic beliefs. So this is the combination of both. And so all this, I think all these concepts are from that lady Ma Manisha, who came from the Landmark Forum, if I'm not wrong. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Because up to that point, from the beginning, when the inner awakening were, got conception, I would say, 2008 up to 2013, it was, I would say, I mean, look to me, yes, what do I know about scriptures and Hindu, tradition, and not only me, because to be honest, majority, and even now, there are people from like NRIs, meaning the Indian origin people living in the West, and whoever is still in India, that, and then some percentage of Western people. Unfortunately, not many of us are coming out like, of Indian origin, but mainly I would say Caucasian people, or, Westerners, or not Indian origin. But the truth was, and it's been, that it's mainly Indian people sitting in this Sangha, and even on top positions there. And so that was up to 2013. It was sounded like very scriptural based. We were mainly working on, our chakras, 7 chakras, and it was like an expansion of his program called Life Bliss program. It used to be basically each meditation prescribed for each chakra, and then and explain to us, yes, explain how emotions are blocking, basically explanation, and then meditation, boom. And then all those inner awakenings were more or less around that, with Nithyananda conducting himself. Then when Mamanisha came in 2013, she introduced Landmark, because I was there when she introduced. I was sitting in the crowd. It was a conference in 2010, I think in January. They made like a 5 days conference, and back then I was in India attending this life-based engineering program. They called me in to join this conference, and I joined. And I remember as today when Mama Nisha stood up and was doing the presentation exactly, about those, well, they call it now completions, but this concept, what Landmark is doing, is that you experience in childhood, you have to somehow go through it, relieve, I don't know, however they call it in Landmark, but it's exactly the same process. And she introduced, she did the presentation, and Nithyananda was absolutely at awe. He made even a comment when she finished, like, look at this is what we need. And he was very impressed. Of course, he was sitting on a stage, and from that moment on, and when I attended another revelational program that you have to attend because it's it's out of this world, never happened before. But all it was, basically, he introduced, it was on the cruise, 2012, sorry, already he introduced in 12, no, not 2013, 2012, sorry, I'm mixing up the years, when she came and introduced. So he said, you know what, he started the program. He said, you know what, there's no point for me talking to you about, high concept or this. We need to get to basics, and only from the basics we can move on and move up. So that was when he said, okay, let's do the 4 tattvas completions. And I remember, sitting on the ship, on the cruise, and then like looking at myself and crying and drama and whatnot, because something happened there in my life and I was trying to complete with all this. That's how it started, yes. And then actually, even up to now, they're talking it's only about completions, you know. Anything you do, well, if it doesn't happen, well, because you're incomplete. Yes, it's everything. It's like a perfect formula that, you know, you cannot say anything, because you know what, because if you're incomplete, that's why it's not happening in your life. Don't blame anyone else. You know, so that's how they take the responsibility. Actually, as much as he's talking about responsibility also in this 4 tattvas, the responsibility is absolutely completely taken away from them, and it's putting on you and only you.
Yes. So on this note, I want to make it very clear. All the acharyas, all the gurus that I have got in my life, in my personal learning, including my guru, Dr. Shankara Shaktananda. So what they are saying is, if you don't understand something, I even stated this in my interview with Sarah Landry, if you don't understand something, then it is my responsibility to make sure that you understand. If I am not doing that, then it is not my place to teach you. First thing. Second thing is, if you are being lackadaisical in your practice, in your homework or anything like that, it is my responsibility to make sure that you are being back on the track. I am taking the ultimate responsibility of giving something to you, so it is my responsibility. That is how it works. It is not the other way around. And all of these, you know, incompletion, this whole concept itself is, you know, the best, I think, like you said, it is the best escape route for anybody who is selling you a product that will not work.
Yes.
Yes. So, you know, this will make you the most beautiful, you know, this one, it will make you the most beautiful person in the entire world, provided you have the right DNA. If it is not working for you, then your DNA is wrong. That is the,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is your DNA. It's not no one else. It's, you know, you screw up. It's always.
Yes, yes. So that is the you know, best escape route that any fraudster organization can take. And so this was in 2012, am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
2012. So
I'd like to also add with that,
mhm.
because he actually, and I was looking for it and I could not find it, because on few occasions he of course addressed landmark, making sure that um, you know, there's no confusion here, meaning that while that looks like a landmark, so of course he put it on scriptures. Okay, here's the scriptures, actually landmark stole it from Vedic tradition, from scriptures. Here is the reference, and he put it some kind of reference. And what do I know? I'm not knowledgeable in scriptures. And so it's like, oh yeah, you know, there are references in scriptures for this completion process. Yes, here it is. Here's for tattvas, you know. I don't remember the names, but the responsibility has its own names referred in scripture. The authenticity had its own name. I remember those brochures we were like posting everywhere on Facebook. Yes, so I know that he just made sure that there is nobody ever will question him, or and in his organization, or that, you know, wow, you know, they're doing landmark stuff. Yes, no, it was not. He made sure, and then he created this whole crap around scriptures, and he blamed landmark, of course, openly, that, you know, they took it, and then actually they are missing this one part, and it was something to do with heart, and I don't remember what it was, that you see they are missing this part. If they only knew, but we are not missing, we are doing everything correctly according to the scriptures.
Yeah, so I heard this from one of the survivors personally. That is, this he was with him when he made a personal statement about Landmark Forum. It seems like he said,
Go ahead.
yeah, it seems like he said they are actually you know, trying to steal from me. I don't mind giving, but at least they should send their teachers to me so that I can teach them properly how to teach it. So
Yeah.
this was his exact statement. I should teach them properly how to teach it. And you are now currently saying that he saw that for the first time from a person who came from Landmark Forum. So that is, you know, copyright theft on his part, but he tried to shift the blame as usual.
Mm-mm.
So that is, you know, the whole program being based on Landmark. But before that, I think it was the time of the Shiva Sutras and other things during
Oh,
the, yeah,
yes.
yes.
It was a period like he was touching Sutras, many different scriptures. Yes, he was accordingly. Also, he was dressing. If he was doing Shiva Sutras, he was dressing differently. If he was doing Bhagavad Gita, then he was dressing like Krishna. Yes. They're creating this such a mysterious, such a, and when I look back, I really remember, like, wow, it looks so mystical and so, wow, he's really Shiva, enlightened being, sitting there and just reading, not reading, like down, yeah, literally, like, he knows everything.
Yes. So, just changing your appearance, like having something here and then, looking like a shaven head, all these things is Brahma Sutra. He will sit like Shankara in the morning. All these things I have seen. And I remembered my primary school fancy dress competition. Nothing more, nothing less. So that is what I was thinking. Like, when we used to recite Bharatiyar poems, we used to dress like Bharatiyar. And when we used to speak, Vivekananda, all these things I have done. I have a whole album of that from my childhood. So every year during the fancy dress competition, one new saint is what I was doing. Same thing he was exactly doing, but unfortunately he is too grown up for that. So
But
it was only yeah.
he just watched too much, TV, or on his laptop, too much of this Bollywood movies or something. And I guess, maybe he doesn't admit, but maybe he wanted to be like some kind of Bollywood star, and knowing that, he has no chance, so he invented himself for some kind of guru. Yes. So he can make
Yes.
this dress up
But
thing.
he has got one, South Indian star with him. That's a different topic.
Oh
Or
yeah.
maybe she is also teaching him some stuff.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
So next question is like, what were the practices that was given to you? Because the program is happening only once a year. What were you going to do throughout the year? Was any practice given to you? And were you encouraged, or were you, made sure that the practice was carried on?
Okay, so inner awakenings in themselves, I don't want to even go into whether there were some practices, whatever it was going there. It was some kind of sessions. As I said before, all you need to do, you need to show up yourself physically, and the thing will happen, the transformation, enlightenment, whatnot. Yes. But
Hmm.
I always remember that whatever was, however it was changing the form over the years, each inner awakening, or then maybe changed to Paramashivoham, from Inner Awakening, than just the names. All I know is that after each of these programs, we were always told, you don't have to do anything, because you are with, you are with Avatar, you are with Paramashiva, you are with Sadashiva, whatever. You don't have to do anything. It's been already in you installed. You know, you already, there's some part of this Paramashiva or Avatar or enlightened being. It's in you. Yes, you are initiated. You don't have to do anything. All you need to do is go home and watch every single day my satsang. This is enough, because you don't need anything. Everything is already, the programs, everything is installed in you. Yes, you don't need anything.
That is
So
the, yeah,
so
most
that
yeah,
was,
yeah.
I was waiting, to be honest, I was waiting just to finish just one sentence, that with this installing something in me, to be honest, when I look back, I quite often like, okay, so where is it? He installed something in me, so where is it? Yes, like there was, I was suppressing this little voice, but I know it was there, like, okay, but so, okay, so where is it? Yes. And if I couldn't find it, of course, later on, and since 2012, yeah, I'm incomplete, of course.
Okay. So basically, this is the most horrible thing that you can say inside a spiritual organization, because Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, I suppose, there is this very beautiful statement: Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena sagachati. So without, practice, and without the strength of holding on to your practice, without your a resolution to do your practice and doing your practice, these two things together, it cannot happen. This is what Krishna is categorically stating. And anywhere that you go, if you are out of your sadhana, even many other modern spiritual organizations in India, if you are out of your sadhana, if you are not doing it properly, then you will be warned, or you will be sent out, immaterial of whatever position you are inside the organization. You will be given a salary as an admin person, but you will no more be a part of the organization as a guru or something. This I have seen in some of the organizations that I don't want to name here, similar organizations. At least they are having that much honesty with the practice. And so, like, not encouraging the practice is once again just to say, even if you are practicing, I have to be there to make you enlightened. So everything is dependent on me, and me. That is the whole story.
It's you are just like, I'm giving you, and in the meantime I'm becoming more and more and more dependent, like more. If he's not giving me the drug, then I'm completely lost. Yes, drug, I mean
Yes.
calling it, and then another program, or just do your, at home. Just to be clear, so nobody will question though. They might say, well, we're doing yoga, or like we're doing puja or this. Come on, yoga. But of course they call it that it's the most authentic form of yoga. Okay, but it's just, what is so great about doing yoga, or even getting up at 4 a.m. There are tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of groups, organization, you name it, that they are doing exactly the same thing. But of course they found answer for that too, as I already said. They have the most authentic yoga. Nobody has such authentic yoga like they have, of course. Yes, there's no one. It's only from Paramashiva, of course. They make this disclaimer, yes. And so how are you going to question that? No. So besides, watching satsang, they have this fabulous practice of yoga and getting up in the morning, which is such a known practice for thousand of years. And among, in India, it's not a revelation from Paramashiva or Kailasa or wherever else.
Yes, basically you just have to go a few, I think 100 or 150 kilometers away from Bidadi. You will find one village called Malladihalli. And there was a Swamigal called Malladihalli Rahavendra Swamigal, same as my name. And that person lived to be a 107. Until the last day of his life, he was able to walk 60 to 70 kilometers per day. So this
Wow.
is and their school has produced so many yogis, hatha yogis in India. If you look at any master who is an accomplished hatha yogi, he will be somewhere connected to either this school or the school of Iyengar yoga, one of the two. So basically, like, this practice of yoga in itself, that is the physical yoga in itself, is something different, and yoga darshana is something different. Mixing these two things together actually happened for the very first time, I think, with either Yogananda or Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Both of them are Nithyanandas of those days. Proportionately, they made as much money as Nithyananda did in their days, but unfortunately media was not there, so we don't know as the information. So as I was telling you, this one, the whole concept of not doing sadhana is ridiculous, and ridiculously dangerous to any spiritual organization, and that in itself invalidates the whole purpose of Nithyananda's organization, other than a money making machine. This is my judgment based on this statement. So that being said,
And
yeah.
I think you tackled in your previous videos too, that even if I'm doing the puja, again, it's been all turned, it's all about him. There's the chanting has been already altered with putting his name in it. Yes,
I'm sorry.
that
Yes.
that it's just so even more being dependent on him, and only it's him, looking up to him. He gives you everything. You chant his name for hours on end. This Mahavakya, everything is yoga. Because I was still doing, I mean, like, when I was still, and they invented this so-called unique yoga. He did some with some chanting, around your neck, this, that, no, it's called Paja, no, oh my God. It's a very, very common practice for, like the circulate your mantra inside your, not speaking out loud, but punch, no, oh, doesn't matter. It's also, he ordered that, during yoga we were supposed to visualize his form in the somewhere, wherever, while we are doing yoga. We were supposed to chant the Mahavakya where we doing this yoga. It's just so crystal clear what it's all about.
Yes. So
That
essentially, he wanted worship. So this
worship,
is, yeah, yeah.
unconditional, 200%, worship of him.
So basically, like, this is the question that is happening in one of the Upanishads, wherein a young boy is asking the sun god and the sun himself, why are you being the sun god? You are saying liberation is everything, but you are having a form for so much of time. Why are you having this form for such a long time? Why is your form not dissolving? You are telling me that the highest truth is dissolving of the mind body complex, everything is fine, but why is there the mind body complex of the sun? Why is it there? This is the question he is asking. And finally the sun god is, confessing, saying that I wanted worship from people. So that is the last step that you have to cross before you attain liberation. I wanted people to worship me. All the devas want people to worship them. All the various, gods of the elements and other things, Indra, all the grahas, they want worship. That is why they are retaining a form. And that form, retention of that form is actually a karma which will not lead you to liberation. This confession is there in one of the Upanishads, a very important one of the Dashopanishads. I think it is in Mundaka Upanishad, if I am not wrong. So this is the concept, that is, even the rishis fell for this, but this fellow is consciously creating that situation, and this fellow is consciously selling that situation. So I think he is the most liberation guru possible in India so far.
Well, my comment is only one, that
Yes.
seeing where I am right now and where I was before, I have no even doubt. There's no doubt in me how free I'm feeling right now. It's just like I have thrown something off myself, like such a freedom, with my family, with life. Like it just only now I feel free. Um, like definitely there was something, like attached to me that I was not even aware of it. Not completely aware, because I was so pursuing and keep going with him, that he just so convoluted everything that I completely lost any sense of awareness. I don't want to even say, that ability to mental, this is, how to say, that cognizance, skills and whatnot. Literally is that the feeling of freedom right now is definitely, like, I'm repeating myself, but something was attached to me and I was not even aware of it, just the awareness.
I understand. I understand. So basically, like, it was, the clutches of Nithyananda removed away from you. The clutches of the Sangha, the constant pestering for bringing in more people, the constant pestering for, enriching others, all this nonsense that is happening. Once you are away from that, you see that actually you are able to live your life. That in itself is a huge relief. I can understand that. So, and that leads to the next question. I heard that there is some sort of MLM, multi-level marketing or referral system involved in this higher level programs. And I have seen people, like, not during this video, not in our culture of our group. Some of the people I know outside who belong to the Nithyananda Sangha, they were referring people for money. So what was that all about? Were you a part of that program? Were you a part of that program as well?
You know what, I'm only aware because I was part in 2017. They created suddenly this new, I don't exactly remember, but I think there was the concept of cosmic money. Yes, so because cosmic money meaning uh, that he's doing this work of this amazing enlightened being Nithyananda is doing, of the avatar or Paramashivoham or Mahasadhashivoham, whatever, we know that he's been changing those names as he incarnates, even higher and higher. So they said that this is some kind of cosmic money, like a cosmic exchange. Even if people pay for those programs, it's like a cosmic exchange. Yes, and so this is okay if we are part of it. That's how it was sold to us. If we are part of this and have part of it, meaning it was translating into the structure that whoever wants can become part of this group that can have part of this cosmic money, and they were calling as sambhavana. Yeah, sambhavana. Basically, if I'm talking to people and enriching them, that's how they call it, enriching them. But now just making them enroll into programs, the paid one, then I'm getting 10% of this, which means sambhavana of those cosmic money, which means that it was, of course, sold to us like a beautiful concept of another kind of spiritual growth. Yes, of course, yes. So I'm not just, being paid a commission of, if somebody enrolled, I'm like part of this cosmic exchange that's, of course, on top of it, I'm growing spiritually, and of course I have this cosmic money. So the, how to say, so this whole heaviness, I would say, a weight of the money, otherwise, yes, in the kind of, I would say, spiritual exchange, has been again, see, like, taking away. It is all pure, it is all clean, and we are all benefiting. We are just doing the most clean and pure exchange that's supposed to happen in the world.
Yes, so essentially, like, this is perfect commission based system, wherein you are referring people, you are getting paid for that, and they are saying it is cosmic money, it is cosmic exchange, because he wants to make that into a divine practice as well. So probably, like, your spiritual evolution also depends on how much money you got as sambhavana, if I'm not wrong. I'm just guessing.
It's basically, it was just again another kind of, idea, that, oh, if I so badly want to attend myself this Mahasadhashivoham, which was 15 or maybe between 12 and 15,000, depending when I was paying for it, then, it was shown to me, hey, you will be paid off. You don't have to struggle, you just get those people, they will pay, you get 10% from each, then you pay off your Mahasadhashivoham.
Yeah, so basically it is get 10% and get the class for free. They are actually not giving you money in your hand. Is that so?
You know what they, I'm glad you're asking that, because they said, oh, you those people who are joining this program, this Sambhavana program, this holy spiritual program, you have to open an account in India. So you have two options. You either will be money sent to you, or if you want to attend the program. Of course, there was no way we could even open the account, even close. It is, you cannot have. And so that was such an obstacle. And then they knew it, of course, that we cannot open the accounts.
And for Indians, I will tell you, this was a personal experience of a friend of mine who was in the Sangha, who is still in the Sangha, and a coordinator. So for him, it was like, you cannot get this money in your hand at all. For those who are able to open accounts in India, that is Indians, the rule is that you cannot get money in your hands at all. Only if you are getting 10 people, then you can attend the program. Otherwise, you cannot attend the program. That money will be rolled over for the next year. So this was the rule for Indians who are able to open the account. For you guys, they said you have to open an Indian account in order to get the money. Otherwise, you can use it for the program or put the remaining money and attend the program. I think this is how the scam went on.
Oh yeah, and then of course we were all sold that, yes, I want to attend the program. Like nobody was thinking, oh, there will be a great income for me. Yes, I was really sold on the idea that, oh my God, if I don't attend this program, I will miss on something. There's something great in the, this one for sure. It's like I will get it as I said it already. It was this constantly creating us this need, this that if I don't, I'm missing on something terribly.
Yes, I understand. So it is constantly, like, creating the demand in you, and always moving the goalpost further, but making sure that the goal is the only thing that you are aspiring to. This time
Yeah.
I will achieve it. So that kind of a plot is being played here. But one thing I want to clearly mention to anybody who is in any other organization, who is seeking for some kind of light moment, bursting inside your head or something like that, absolutely nothing of that sort is ever going to happen. It is not going to happen, because of one simple reason. The whole process of the so-called realization is actually not possible to be within your experience according to Vedanta. This is a huge concept, but simply put, This is from a saint called Tayamanavar, a very beautiful Tamil song. பாராதி பூதம் நீ அல்லை, எண்ணிப்பார் இந்திரியம் கரணம் நீ அல்லை, ஆராய் உணர்வு நீ என்றான், அவன் அன்பாக சொன்ன சொல் ஆனந்தம் தோழி. மீனிங், பாராதி பூதம் நீ அல்லை, you are not the five elements. And then எண்ணிப்பார் இந்திரியம் கரணம் நீ அல்லை, you are not the five senses, you are also not the five organs of action, which is your brain, hands and leg. You are not these. So what are you? ஆராய் உணர்வு நீ என்றான். You can only be the feeling of that which is ultimate. That's all. You cannot be the ultimate, because when you become the ultimate, you is not there. Then what is becoming the ultimate? This question Shankara himself is asking, and that is the ultimate realization in Vedanta, which Nithyananda is subscribing to, Advaita Vedanta. So the problem here is, there is nothing that can happen to you. Your life will become better, your tolerance will become better, all these things it will slowly inculcate into your life experience. That is all that can happen, and this can happen with only your normal regular sadhana. So I think from what you have shared, your whole experience has been exactly what should not be done for spirituality, exactly what should not be done for a healthy relationship, exactly what should not be done for creating a mentally and physically healthy human being. That is not what he is doing. Everything that is supposed to be done is not happening. That is the whole problem with Nithyananda as far as I am concerned.
Well, absolutely. There's this one word: dependency, 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 and dependency, and just driving you to the ditch, basically.
I understand, and I really feel sorry for those who are still inside. So now that being on that note, you are attending the programs, okay, and you said how you felt during that time, and you already explained like how you feel during this time. So was there any specific incident or anything wherein you felt that this program is not the right thing for me, or anywhere wherein you had a direct interaction or any question with anybody inside the sangha?
Well, to be honest, because I was so deep in it, I was so intense, I never really questioned. I mean, all those years, it was, you see, the attention was somehow, the attention was so that, always I was, oh no, this is me, this is always, that's how it was. The critical thinking was completely shut down. Because again, I was sold out immediately on that idea. I mean, there was not even a question that he's not enlightened being. And so I was keep going with that, yes. So,
Yes. So, but what about, I think there was a huge online this thing.
Maybe later on only, later on, especially the Mahasadhashivoham 2017. When I look back, I completely dismissed, of course, the red flags, but, like sitting like 24 hours, literally, maybe just a few hours sleep here and there, and just manifesting and manifesting. There was no Nithyananda anywhere to be seen. He just appeared like literally I can count on my one hand. Maybe,
manifesting what?
Well, this is the famous manifesting powers. Yes, the manifesting powers. That's what it was, the session, manifesting powers. This whole concept of manifesting powers, yes. And it was not done really in his presence. He just was coming here and there. And this whole feeling was 1,000 people sitting in a hall. And well, of course, in the beginning, I was on a high, yes, because everybody's anticipating. He just came, but soon it became like, so where is he coming? Where is he coming? From the very beginning, like, where is he? Where is he? All we were doing, it was manifesting and manifesting, and then the Gurukul kids came, and apparently, they were supposed to help us, but 1,000 people, yes, 1,000 people, and those, like, I don't know what group, like 30 of them. And they were dragged and sitting with us, till late night, like kids, 15, 16 years old, kids. It was their responsibility to sit with us adults. At the time when I was doing it, I didn't see it as it. I was just in my like, okay, I wish, a Gurukul kid to just come up to me and then, do with me manifestation. If I look at this, it was nothing but like so self-centered, so, egoistic, really, this whole concept of manifesting powers. And so that was tough, and people soon enough, I got really sick too towards the end, like coughing like never in my life before, and people were like laying down on sides and just barely, like I look at them, and like they were like a hospital, like this hospital laying
I
down and
understand.
coughing and pricking and whatnot. And at some point I got actually sick, like I was vomiting. And guess what? It maybe lasted for one day. The next day, yoga is, and Nithyananda is saying that, oh, people who got a problem with the stomach and vomiting, it's a good sign. You are clearing, you are cleaning, you are clearing. This is a preparation for manifesting powers or something like that. And of course, for me, wow, I'm the lucky one. I'm in that group that, I had problems. But then when I look back, it definitely came from the juices, the so-called fresh juices that Nithyananda was just, how amazing all this food will be during that program, how many dishes and how many herbs and you name it. And of course he introduced these juices, of course fresh juices, but the way that they were done, those fresh juices, like two guys, they look literally like from the street. Nothing wrong with, I'm not against those guys, but no hygiene, no nothing. The fruits grabbed from the floor and then put in the juicer or something. Those guys not cleaning nothing. And and I was drinking like crazy those juices, yes, like a grape juice or that juice. And I'm not surprised that I got problem with my stomach and I was really vomiting. And I'm really glad that it didn't go any further than just one day of some kind of stomach disturbance, yes, and vomiting. But then there was no, the way I remember clearly how the juices were done, like literally the fruits were dropped on the floor, and then from the dirty, floor, just straight, into the juicer. They had no aprons, nothing, like, those dirty clothes that they wear, like on the street, those guys, like I would say poor, from a poor, I would say, class or something. So
Yes.
they were
So
dragged into the program, and they were supposed to make juices. There was not even proper kitchen staff hired.
yeah,
Maybe
I
one cook,
understand.
and that's it. And the rest, some this kind of volunteers, yes, they are not even trained, they are not even equipped in serving the huge mass of people.
So how much did you pay for this program, by the way?
15,000.
For
Yes.
15,000 US dollars. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
15,000 US dollars. I think for 15,000 US dollars, you can hire two five-star chefs for 2 months or 3 months in India. From
With
one
the proper
participant. Yes.
with
If
the proper service. With the proper service, of
yes,
course.
everything. You can hire an entire, set of kitchen staff for 30 days or whatever from a 3-star or a 5-star hotel from the money he is getting from one single participant.
I know. I know.
I have heard a lot about this, Manasarovar becoming dirty and not being cleaned, sewage water going on in this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the
So,
famous aushadas that we are doing, some kind of aushadas. It was like in a concentration camp. You put on yourself, you run, like
mhm.
first women, then guys, then you run and quick, 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 quick. And even then I was thinking, what kind of influence this Aushada will have on me if I went to the changing room, like quickly put on myself, then quickly would wrap up myself with sari so I'm not running naked, on the ground there. Go to this Manasarova, this apparently this amazing huge Shivalinga made out of 1,008 herbs or something invention. Then I quickly go in the lineup and then raise myself, go back, pack up, dress, and go to the hall. Like what kind of really, if this Aushada was really some kind of amazing effect, like you have just like what, 5 minutes on you and that's it? Like what is it? But it's a drama played on us again.
Yes, actually, he is copying from some organizations. I don't want to name here. They are having certain processes like this. Okay, but you will be given at least half an hour time to 1 hour time in order to go through this process in order to get the full benefits. That is,
Well,
he is
sorry.
seeing something out. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just want to add, yes, we did. It lasted half an hour, but it was not that this Aushada was on us or we were like absorbing it and
Mm-mm.
taking in this, like even the meditative state. No, it was just like, it literally a concentration camp, like run, 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 run. Keep quiet. Don't argue. Don't this. Go run, run, run.
So basically, like, this half an hour process that I'm saying is not about the process of being with the Aushada and then being with that particular linga, the so-called Navapashana linga. It is not Navapashana linga, but Panjapashana lingas, that is 5 poisons will be used. Navapashana is 9 poisons, deadly poisons. Nobody knows the technology today, but 5 we know. We have the technology. So making the linga out of those 5 and then having a little bit of acidic water in the area, all these things, there is a process. There is a process of increasing your awareness through through this Aushadic technique. He is just looking at these things from outside and he is replicating it in the worst way possible, in the cheapest way possible, in the way that will get him maximum profit. So these are his 3 goals from whatever I can see. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, now when I look back, and even then, I was like questioning, like, what the heck this Aushada has on us? Like it done in such a style. There is no way it has any effect on me. There's no way.
I understand. So I think these are the questions that I had for you together. So is there anything else that you would like to add from your personal experience or anything you want to tell to our viewers?
Well, the only thing is that, well, and really nothing. I mean, the only thing that really standing out for me right now is that this freedom, like this freedom really, that I'm free of this madness, this some kind of do this, do that. Those all, if I think about it, all those external things, chant, whatever, all about external, do puja, watch satsang, enrich, you name it, such a madness. And the smallest thing like wearing jatas and or what really has got to do with enlightenment, that it will advance me in any way possibly, that I make myself like a clown and that's supposed to be a way for enlightenment. That's the only way I really now see it, such a silliness and madness that has got absolutely nothing that people think it will advance them in any way spiritually. But I think what is the clutch, and I just only recently realized, is that he's holding them with those promises, and especially the promise about death, meaning that it's all covered, like it's an insurance basically, yes, policy. I don't remember exactly the statements, but basically him saying, you know what, if we are my disciples, this is all covered for you. Don't have to worry about nothing. And I remember how I was sitting on that promise, especially the death. Never mind the relationships, the wealth, that anything else. But if I would boils down, the worst fear that we have is to face death. Yes, we don't talk about this. We don't want to think
Yes.
about this, but when it comes, so then he was already giving me now promise. I just go and relax, from that. So I think this is the worst thing that he's doing to people, and that actually I'm free of that. Yes. So
Yes.
this is the worst for me, what he's doing to people.
So
And
that too at
well,
the time of Corona. So that is the problem. Yeah.
yeah.
So basically, like, there were more ridiculous plans. I think you will know of them. What he was discussing with Rajiv Malhotra. So that is an altogether
Oh, the
yeah.
bank money, or I don't, yeah, it's just this ridiculous when it is just ridiculous, even this whole conversation, like that, about this money concept. and creating this bank of millions of dollars. Yes, and then Malhotra, okay, so that Steve Jobs can get his money back when he comes back to whatever. Yes, but at the same time, the money will go towards, of course, probably Malhotra too, to create his organization, I'm assuming.
Yeah, probably like all of those, people who paid the money will be reborn inside Nithyananda's organization. One of the 10 Kalabhairavas.
And of course, this whole concept of that you will become deity if you pay $1,000,000. I mean, that was the biggie one for me that really woke me up, actually, because then I started really question, like, really, are you kidding me?
Can
Like,
you
you pay?
explain that?
Oh, so suddenly this information appeared in 2019 because he was somewhere there in seclusion, no satsangs, no nothing, and I would say, like, I think March, here and there, he's like, oh, Mahasadhashiva, or I don't know what he was calling himself, Paramashiva is downloading. Oh, it's in Samadhi. Oh, it's ready. When this Mahasadhashiva or Paramashiva will come, oh my God, what he is downloading there, what kind of gifts he's bringing. So here and there, he started like posting on his account, written version, yes. And then one day it's like, oh yeah, and then this Mahasadhashiva or Paramashiva is bringing this science of karta, which means that deifying you, and so you basically become the deity, but probably not maybe during life, but after you see, and everybody will be worshiping you. And I don't know what is really benefiting that, but anyhow, but for that you have to pay $1,000,000.
Oh,
US.
you are speaking about keeping your idol in Kailasha.
Or yeah, something like that. But
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
become the deity. You will be the deity, yes?
Yes, I understand. I understand. You are becoming a Shivagana and then you are becoming this one also I heard. And many people woke up because they were asked to pay this $1,000,000. Even normal people were asked to pay this $1,000,000.
Well, you know what? It was also given in such a way, like there's this basically, people might say, well, I was not greedy or this, but this is greediness. Yes, this is, we don't see it as greed, but it is just like my greed too, going for those inner awakenings, by the way. Yes, fear and greed both, that in any form, it's just a greed that is. And it's not that we should blame ourselves. You just fall into something like that, and he's just having a ride. That's all, and
Yes.
then nothing else.
Problem is we have been taught that if you are getting something as a free lunch, it is not a free lunch. There is some cost attached to it. On the materialistic plane, we are very well aware of that. Because like if somebody is telling come and get a free bottle of shampoo, then they are going to sell you something of more value. We know that,
Yeah,
but we are unable to apply that to spirituality because in the mind of our mind, in the heart of our heart, we believe that something that is being having a spiritual flavor to it will be pure, will be honest. So this is the belief that they are playing with. Like I told in one of my videos, people will not complain about waiting to visit the Tirupati Balaji Perumal for 7 hours, 8 hours you have to wait for one moment of darshan there because the crowd is that much. Okay, but they are not complaining, but 1 hour waiting in a restaurant is a problem for us. So but we are giving that leverage to a spiritual organization. Similarly, when you say spiritual this thing, somebody is giving you sudden enlightenment, you want to believe that because it is coming with a spiritual flavor.
yeah.
So yeah, it is not entirely to be a self blame thing like you said.
um it just, I don't know, he just again mastered that concept, to take this weight and that of the money concept and make it into like a very clear and pure and clean exchange, and nothing is wrong with that.
Mhm.
But my experience now, or my huge take from this whole experience, is that if someone will come up to me and say, well, if you pay that much money, I mean, that at least the biggest lesson for me, like, just go away. And it just, there's really, now I only understood through such a costly experience, by all means, not only in terms of money, is that whenever money is involved, and I'm saying in the context of spirituality, there's no way that there's some kind of agenda. There's absolutely no way. It's not that, I don't want this being who is really enlightened, let's say, to prosper or anything, but even this being is beyond even the money at
Yes.
this stage already. So there's not even a question about the money. There's, you know what I mean? So anyhow, but all I know is that there's certain um, what it's called, it's impurity. There's certain impurity already happens when we start talking about money, and then, okay, you know what, if you want enlightenment or this or that, whatever exchange, he had answers for everything. Number one, he said that, well, you know what is wrong, just a little, he said, a little bit money that you pay, a little bit money that you pay, so we can go forward. It's just so you support our mission. Yes, okay, that was number one. And the second, his brilliant explanation was that if I didn't charge for the program, people would not respect, and then I would be sitting by myself. That was his answer. And Anna even bought into that, like, oh yeah. Oh, because, I never realized that, when that was high. When I said yes, when I went for those programs, there was a high, some certain, but there was a lot of churning. And then this churning was called as a good thing because you are churning, your ego is churning. But when I look back, it was really my being was that, you know what, I don't want to be here. But I was just suppressing it and saying, no, this is churning. Because it was so nasty sometimes. It was so ugly. Ugly meaning like we were like bickering at each other, like we were becoming, and on the surface, you couldn't see that. People were attending, everybody is in peace, but there was this bickering, here and there happening, and each of us was going through it. I thought it was only me, but each of us, but nobody talked about this. None of us were talking about this. And so that's why, I said, no, I was going along with that because, again, so no, this is the churning, some kind of churning that is good for me.
I understand. So basically, like, the whole fight that was happening between your sensible side and the side that got convinced by the cult.
Yeah.
Yes, but they called it as churning. It is good for you. So actually, I don't know if you have been to Nithyananda's ashram in Tiruvannamalai. Right next to the ashram, there is one place called Kannappar Temple. It is, you have to go up some steps to reach there. And basically, that is the place where Ramana Maharshi sat and gave satsangs. I took some 5 or 6 people with me right next to Nithyananda ashram. If you get on the top that place, you can see Nithyananda ashram downstairs. So I went and I have taken some 5 or 6 people there, and there was a stone that I identified. If you sit on that stone, at that particular piece of stone, for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, most of them were not able to sit. They said something is happening to me. And the reason why I chose that was because that was the exact spot where Ramana Maharshi was sitting and giving satsang. And he never charged even a single penny. Till date, if you go, you are only paying 150 rupees or 350 rupees. Single room, double room. That's all in Ramanashram.
Actually, I don't remember if I remember correctly, because I was looking into it. I think 2 days it's actually free. You can stay. And
I'm
also,
speaking about permanent residents.
oh, okay, permanent residence, because actually they don't even allow you to stay. There has to be rotation. It's not like you going to stay there and then you going to plant yourself there. Yes, it's
Yes.
just to. I've been to Ramana Maharishi ashram, and then it's such a, there's no hustle bustle or any, it's just such a calmness there, and people just come, go. You don't even feel that there's some service, the freedom there is. Nobody's keeping you there, nobody's controlling you, anything. Look at Nithyananda ashram. Number one, he's not even there. There's a humongous gate, some kind of installed, like you don't even know what's going on behind. The whole situation they create about themselves is, like, it's like somebody is going to rape you there, steal something there. Like nobody's even interested, and they sit behind this locked up, this huge steel gate, and Ramana Maharishi is just the moment, you know, the dawn comes, people come, you can sit, they give you food even, you know. It's just so beautiful, and it's so maintained and preserved. The interesting part, I was thinking about it, that this purity even now is preserved.
Yes, not only that, the only thing that will be very, very compulsory there, if I remember, will be the silence. Other than that, nothing else
Yes.
is, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So other than that, nothing else. So not only there are close to 172 ashrams in Tiruvannamalai, out of which I think 50 to 60 ashrams are of this variety, are of Nithyananda variety. Nithyananda is not a unique guy in Tiruvannamalai.
I
There are at
know.
least 50 to 60 ashrams who do the same thing. He is doing it on a different level. That's all. So basically, like, I have got this based on banking information that I got from a person who worked as a bank manager in the Tiruvannamalai area. He was telling me records about how much they used to, various ashrams used to come and deposit. So basically, like, this is one of those fellows. Other than that, those 100 ashrams which are there, like Agastya Ashram, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, all these places are exactly where Indian spirituality is actually living, and they are actually not having proper food to eat. That is the reality, and they don't care, they don't want to market. I have approached some of them, and I was telling, like, I can set up a PayPal account for you. There is something called as micro payments, there is something called as GoFund campaign. All these things are there, and you are eating whatever the crow has left over, whatever the cow has left over. They will feed the cow rest of the same food they will eat. No other food is there. You cannot split it. You have to give whatever you have, you have to eat the remaining. So when I ask, they will say all these things are, like, ropes and vines that are going to tie me together. And even if you try to do all these things, within 1 year I will waste away everything. Whatever setup you are giving me, I will waste it away. So this is what they are telling me. Like, even if you are setting up a bank account for me, everything, 1 year down the line, you will see that I am not maintaining that. I would have already wasted it away. So I am not able to, willing to take that financial responsibility, is the statement of the real gurus here. So that is the whole beauty of this thing. And there are people, householders, who are around them, who will simply make sure every month when they are buying provisions, they will also buy for this guru, like a grandfather. Every week, like, one person will cook and give. If there is some problem in their house, they will nominate the next person to cook and give. That is how that system is operating today. So
Okay.
that being said, I think we have covered pretty much of the inner awakening and all the other higher level programs and your experience with them. And if you don't have anything to add, we can end the interview.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Yes. Dacham yora vrunimahe gatum yajnaya gatum yajnapataye daivi swastirastunaha swastir manushebhyaha urdhvam jigadu beshajam shanno astu dvipate e sanchatushpathe am shanti shanti shantihi. Thank you so much for being with me. And your experience is very, very valid, and it is very, very important for others who are going in his path or who are following any other fake guru. Please have these litmus tests that she has given, and you will be safe. Thank you.